Yo, what is up, guys? It's Nick Mira from Internet Money. Today I'm going to be making a future type beat for y'all. This is going to be, one of the harder future, unlike, Hendrix stuff that he just dropped. It's going to be more like the self-titled album, future, fast-paced. It's like 136, we're doing double time, some hard drums, simplistic melody, nothing too over the top, but yeah, definitely that future sound we're going for. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so first off, before the video, to save like cool couple minutes, I laid out these 4 notes right here using Omnisphere 2, the cinematograph bell, and I'm gonna play this for y'all. So I have those 4 notes just laid out, and then I'm gonna structure a melody based off this. I'm actually gonna bring this down a couple notes by doing shift down on the keyboard. And here I'm looking to change some notes up here and there to make it less repetitive, make it sound more unique. Alright, now I feel like the main melody is pretty strong. I'm gonna copy this melody over here, then paste it into another instance of Omnisphere. Edit, paste. Now I'm gonna look for some other sound to complement the main melody. Just to, give some more distinction between the hook and the verse, where we can take some elements out and still make the beat sound full, So I might go into, let's see, bells. Let me go to, I think there's this one bell in here that Metro uses. It's like, I'll search it. It's called Astral Visions Music Box. And these 2 notes right here are getting a little repetitive, just because it's this one sound hitting over and over. So I went Control left click on these 2 notes on the side, and I'm gonna delete these. So it's gonna be extra emphasis on these notes that are being hit. Next up, I'm gonna go into Nexus. I might grab some ARP in here called Crystalline. I'm gonna copy this same pattern I just did, put it on Nexus. But I'm just gonna use some of the notes just to give me a guide. So I'm gonna delete this note over here and delete all these bottom notes by Control and left clicking. Then I'm going to do Control L to connect all these notes. Then Control up to bring them an octave up. add yet another sound from Nexus. Got all these melodies laid out, I'm gonna start adding some drums. I'll probably start off with, you know, just a clap here and then work some hi-hats in. Raising all the velocities, you know. And before I send the piano roll, I'm making sure that this little box up here is checked off so it's repeating. So I can send the piano roll, all of these notes will be laid out, and then I just do Shift D to shorten all these notes. So if I play the playlist right here, no clap will be playing as opposed to the claps playing. Next I'm gonna go on hi-hats, fill each 2 steps, make sure it's repeating, then send the piano roll. And the thing with these future type beats is the hi-hat's nothing too crazy. You need to be spaced out here and there to give it more bounce. And yeah, just a few rolls here and there, nothing too complex. Control B while selecting all these notes to paste them over. Just hit Alt U to chop these notes up so when the clap hits it's gonna roll. Switch these hi-hats up around the 8th beat. Now that I got those hi-hats bouncing, I'm gonna add a second snare, or a snare next to the clap. Next off, I'm going to add the kick. I actually don't like these snares hitting right here, so I'm going to take them out. Go back to my kick. Take this layer, shift and left click to drag them over. Throw in some variation. pattern all laid out, I'm gonna right click E, then C to copy, then go to my 808, right click E, then P. Then I'm gonna do Control L to connect all these notes, add a note on the 9th to connect this last one, then delete that. Now we can go over here and lay out our 808 pattern. So I'm gonna solo the melody, the main melody, bring my 808 a couple octaves up so we can match the tune or the right pitch, and yeah, now let's start matching it. So right from the jump, the 808 sounds way off, so it's the pitch that needs to be adjusted. So up here on the pitch knob, I'm just gonna slightly adjust it anywhere between 0 and -100 cents to where it sounds good. Now it's in tune. And one thing in these future type beats to give it more bounce, I've done this in other tutorials, but for those of y'all that haven't seen this, I'm gonna make the 808 hit in some parts where the kick doesn't, and right before the next kick / 808 hits to give it more bounce. Now that I have most of major stutter. Now that I have most of the main drums done, I'm going to add an open hat and a cymbal here and there. It's just for filler sounds / giving it more bounce. All the components of this beat are done. I'm gonna left click and select all these drums, go to my mixer, go to insert 10, link selected channels starting from this track. I'm gonna do the same with my melodies except for starting from 1. And now I'm gonna solo my kick and start mixing all my drums first, then slowly adding in my melodies. When mixing these drums, you want to make sure one element isn't way too louder than the other one, so it's not overpowering it and you can't hear the other one. For instance, like a hi-hat, if your hi-hats or any high end is way too loud, it's going to interfere with the low end, so it's going to overwhelm it and basically you can't hear it. So like the snare's too loud, so I'm gonna bring it down. stereo separate my melody a little by this little knob here, bring it to the left, just to make it wide and make it sound more full in the mix. Now when this one sound, there's a little too much high end that I don't want, so I'm going to open up an EQ and then take number 7 and just lower it a little. And number 6. Doesn't matter which ones you use, as long as you're just cutting out a little bit of some frequency. That's all that matters. Now for this Nexus piano, it's very simple, but I want to add an effect to it, so I'm going to open up this free plugin called Effectors. I'm pretty sure it's free. If not, you can go cop it online somewhere. And I'm going to go to this preset tab, Factory Backward Vocals. And you might recognize the sound because a lot of Futures producers use it. I feel like it works better with 2 notes, so I'm gonna go in here to my Nexus on the piano roll and add another note. Now that I feel like everything's mixed, I'm going to open up Fruity Multiband Compressor, right click this tab, mastering 2.4, and then I'm going to slowly raise this gain till it sounds loud enough and it's not clipping. With this kick, I feel like it's a bit too high, like in frequency, so I'm gonna go back into the piano roll, shift down a couple notes, and bring the kick pitch down. I'm gonna split all these channels, or split this pattern into channels. Go to my playlist, press 1 on my keyboard, lay that first pattern out, next pattern, and I'm going to the next pattern by pressing the plus key, and then I'm just going to keep doing this till I'm all out of my patterns. Now that we have all this laid out, I'm going to zoom in, make sure there's no excess after the 8th beat. I'm going to click Control A or type in Control A on my keyboard, Control B, Control A, Control B, and over again just to duplicate it so we can map out the beat easier. So for the intro, I'm gonna start off with a couple instruments, maybe just these 2. Then for the first half of the hook, I'm gonna have almost every element except for maybe 1 or 2 sounds, and then the second half of the hook, it's going to be the other filler sounds that make the hook sound more full, so it sort of sounds like it's progressing, which it is. Now Now for the verse, I want the verse to be really bare bone, basically like taking out a lot of elements, especially high end, like the open hat and cymbal. Forgive me for my major stuttering here, but yeah, so take out the hats and cymbals. That's what I did, just keeping the hi-hat, snare, clap, 808, and then the melody. And maybe right after the hook drops, maybe might use one melody. So let's see which one sounds better. Maybe this one would sound better. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to flip it around. So as the verse starts, it's going to be both elements, and then as the second half of the verse kicks in, the kick is going to come in, and then the melody is just going to get really simple. So we're going to take out this part of the melody. By doing these switch ups of patterns in the verse and hook, it really makes the beat just sound different, and it's not going to get boring after hearing the same thing over and over, because you're not playing the same thing over and over. So now that I have my hook here, if we want to label this, we can do we can highlight this first and then type in Alt-T in the keyboard, type in hook, Control-D to unselect, go over here, Alt-T, verse, and then you can, sorry about that. Then you can include this in the verse if you want to, or you can just label it as, let's say, like, bridge. It's 2 E's. Bridge E. Alright, there we go. Now we can select here by holding Control, left click, duplicating these layers, or these patterns, and then doing it over again. Now these time markers, I'm pretty sure there's a way you can get them to duplicate, but I'm not too knowledgeable on that. So if you want to do it by manual, you can just go in and add each one over and over. But yeah, now the beat is basically done. I'm going to go over here to my volume, copy value, which is the standard FL Studio volume, which is 80%. I'm going to create an automation clip. Go to the last 4 bars over here, right click a point, paste the value of 80 there, and then drag this last point down. And now the beat's fading out as I do in all my tutorials. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, you guys. Forgive me for all my major stuttering. I'm still a little rusty getting back on these tutorials. And yeah, let me know in the comments what kind of tutorials you want to see next. A majority of the sounds I use in this beat you can get from wavesupply.net or stock sounds in the plugins that I was using. So yeah, I'm going to play this beat and head off. Peace.